closet that you never wear anymore. It doesn't fit right. It's worn out. You don't even like it that much. But every time you go to clean it out, you pause because it reminds you of a time where you felt close to someone or something, or safe, or seen. So it stays. Not because it's useful now, but because of what it once gave you. That's how secondary gain works. I had the wonderful opportunity to do a podcast interview the other day, and the podcast is actually going live tomorrow morning. And what we talked about, a bunch of different things, goal setting. It's the end of December. We're heading into a new year. And many people are in a position where they have goals that they set last year or they've set previously, and they haven't achieved them, or they've achieved them sort of, but there's still stuff that's hanging around and staying stuck behind. And one of the conversations that came up in this interview was around secondary gain. And I had this huge eye opening experience for my own self in my journey. And I've experienced and I've explored secondary gain in lots of different ways. And it's something that I often talk about with clients because, like that old sweater that's hanging out in the back of your closet that you're probably never going to wear again, but for some reason you keep it there, you keep it around. And this is similar to what happens when it comes to secondary gain. It served you in some point in your life, and now it could be the thing that's keeping you from moving forward. So I'll share two stories with you today because the first one is one that I've recognized and I've cleared out, and that's around health stuff. So in the past, secondary gain showed up for me in the sense that my family, my dad left when I was 4 years old, and it was the best outcome for all of us, but ultimately, I learned really young that health challenges brought my family back together. So I had asthma when I was a kid. I had other stuff. I broke my arm. I had other kind of challenges throughout life. And every time there was health stuff going on, family came back and family was around. And so support is something that can be the gain, the benefit that can keep people from actually moving towards where they want to go. And so health is a big, really big one that comes up around that. The client that Surinder references in this interview, and I shared it on my stories yesterday, he talks about a weight loss client that he had, and how when she was young, she had a sister who was the thin one. And this girl dealt with weight challenges in the past. And there can be secondary gain in that sense, in feeling of, okay, if I lose the weight now, then the people that were horrible to me when I was younger, that picked on me for that or would question when I was eating things or whatever, they get away with that if I lose the weight now. And so this is why secondary gain is something that's really valuable to explore because, yeah, it can be like a, oh my God, aha moment of realizing why you're not actually moving towards where you want to go, and how we can create barriers that keep us in a stuck place. So, as I mentioned, health stuff. I was diagnosed with MS 20 years ago, and I had kind of a turbulent relation. I had multiple turbulent relationships in my life earlier, not now. I'm like happily married now, but things had to change so I could get to the point where health was no longer filling that need of attention or connection or drawing people close to me when I felt alone. I felt unsafe. I felt not protected. And so health brought that to me. And if I hadn't gone through the journey of learning that you don't have to use health to get your needs met, you can do that in other ways, I don't know where my life would be right now. So there's a vulnerable share number one for you today. I also experienced as doing this interview with Surinder, and he's talking about this woman who had the thin sister and not wanting to let her mom get away with the torment that she put her through at a young age in terms of weight. And so if she loses the weight now, her mom gets away with that. And that can go on for a long time. He mentioned working with clients that the family member that caused that heartache or that discomfort for them isn't even around anymore. But now we've told ourselves this story over and over and over again in our minds for so long that, as one of my colleagues and friends from a local like networking group says, we all make up all kinds of crazy crap in our minds, and the problem is we believe it. And so if you've been telling yourself this same story for a long time, it just kind of keeps repeating until we shine a flashlight in a different direction. And so it's shining a flashlight on the areas where it's like, okay, so why are you doing that? So for me, MS symptom free for 9 years now. If I hadn't got to the point where I realized, like, okay, this is serving me in a certain way, I want something different from this point, I have to let go of those old beliefs. I have to let go of that old identity that gave me the attention and belonging and support and all the different things that MS gave me at the time. It's the same can be said with struggling with finances, struggling to find the right partner or to find a date. Like, how many times have you heard a friend or experienced a friend saying, "Oh, there's no good guys out there," or I keep ending up with all these dirt bags that just don't give me what I deserve in terms of a relationship. And it's looking at things and realizing that who's the common denominator at the end of the day, and what do I need to change inside of me to attract a different life, to get different circumstances and a different outcome. So when it comes to secondary gain, we're going to talk about that in the podcast episode that comes out tomorrow. But the light bulb moment I had as we're interviewing this episode, which sometimes happens, which is totally fun. But here's vulnerable share number two. I have been through a journey of my life with weight. It's like up and down at times. I did get to a point at one point in my life where I was like very thin and small and felt really good. But in the last, like, other circumstances at that point in my life, my relationship was really turbulent. Things didn't get better, things got worse as I got smaller. And I also went through that journey thinking, when I get to X weight on the scale, X number on the scale, then I'll be happy. And that's accepting and that's admitting and that's basically saying that I'm not happy right now. I can't be happy where I am right now. I won't be happy until I get to this certain number. And that can be a chase of, well, maybe just 5 more pounds, because we get to that number and then it's like, well, shoot, I'm still not happy. So there must be more to this. Well, maybe I just need to lose more weight. And then life went on, things have changed. Excellent relationship now. Business has changed. I'm really happy in terms of the career that I'm in, helping people and doing all these different things. And weight's been a little bit of a struggle this year, and I couldn't figure out why. And it's like, oh, okay. So is my mind associating that last time that I went through losing weight and feeling good about myself and about my body, my health struggled and my relationship struggled? Okay, so I don't wanna do that again. So it's a protection mechanism. So secondary gain is always a protective mechanism, but it's recognizing that the challenges that we're dealing with, how are we contributing it to it, and how is it serving us? Because if we can't uncover that and find other ways to get that same benefit that doesn't give you the negative that you're currently dealing with, the benefit is never actually going to last. It may not come, and if it does come, it's gonna be hard to hold on to. So this is something where using, NLP timeline therapy is very beneficial for people because it's helpful to go back and look and see, okay, so what is at the root of this? What's underlying why you're having the challenges that you're having? And I work a lot with women with MS, and this is often things that come up. And it's not about blaming family. I don't blame my family. I don't blame my parents. I don't blame anything anymore. And I went through a phase in my MS journey where I was blame, 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 blame. All the things outside of me. I blamed God, the universe, my family, my school. My circumstances, the house that, like, I blamed all of these things outside of me. And from that point of blaming everything outside of me, that's like handing the remote control of your life to sources to outside of you. It's basically saying, like, I have no control here. There's nothing that I can do here. All of these things are the reason that I am the way that I am. But what if you could instead take the remote control back and start looking inside and seeing, okay, how did I contribute to this? And that's not blame on self at all. We also don't wanna blame self, but it's like if you can recognize that you were a contributor in some way, shape, or form to the situation that you're in right now, that means you can make new decisions. You can change it. You can do something different. And that's pretty much I wasn't NLP, I wasn't hypnosis trained at the time, but that's pretty much what happened in my life in 2011 which is what led to changing the way I eat, changing the people that I surround myself with, changing my work situation. I made a bunch of different changes, but all of it was recognizing that all of these things that I'm doing are not helping me get healthy, are not helping my body. And MS is the end result of that, is the byproduct of that. And that's not been a problem for 9 years, almost 10 years, actually 10 years in January. So we're almost at 10 years. And it's people say, "Oh, that's so amazing. You're so lucky." And it's like, I explored what's going on, what's behind this, and what are the things that I can do. And I've helped like hundreds of people do the same to different levels and with different situations. But secondary gain is a really interesting conversation because often it can feel like, "Oh my god, are you saying that I'm the reason that I am the way I am?" In a sense, how are you contributing? Again, it's not about blame on anybody, but it's like, how are you contributing to what you're dealing with right now? How is it benefiting you? For some people, if there's health stuff going on, maybe it's because you're pushing too hard. I was very type A. I was a type A person. I was working in a very male dominated industry. I had to like bust my butt to succeed in this industry and to get by there. And I thought, like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this. Like, you watch me. You say I can't do this, watch me. And eventually my body was like, hi, what about me? When are you going to start taking care of your own health? And so MS was what got me to stop doing the things I was doing. And when we can recognize that, it's like, okay, well, what can I do instead that gives the same benefit that MS gave me, that caused me to slow down and to consider things? I changed the way I was eating. I don't drink anymore. I don't stay up late and party like I used to. I was 22 when I was diagnosed. Give me some credit. I was young. But the lifestyle that you're living could be connected to the situation that you're dealing with in anything. If it's health, if it's, like business, if it's relationships, all of these things, it's like, how can I show up differently to attract different things? And if there are things that I am doing that are giving me something that I don't like, how is it serving me? Because maybe there's a part of it that is. And when we start to explore that and kind of open the door there, it's amazing the changes that can happen in your life in so many different ways. So I completely rambled on on this today. That was not my intention, but I just wanted to shed a little bit of light on secondary gain because it's a conversation that's very rarely had. And it's definitely a place where, when I talk about, you can take the remote control back in your life in terms of having control, having a say in what you watch on TV. Would you just keep watching the same TV show that you don't like? The plot sucks, it's too loud, and we sit there and we complain about the TV show when the remote is sitting on the table right in front of you. Secondary gain is a very similar experience to this. So I will post the link for the podcast episode tomorrow, or you can follow Limitless Health Podcast, and then you'll get it as soon as it launches. If you have any questions about secondary gain or about challenges that you're struggling with, send me a DM. I'd be more than happy to have a conversation with you. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you got some value from this, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks.